So after we make the first part of our assembly, we're gonna go ahead and start to create the second part. So it's gonna be, we're gonna call it just spring. Spring. We're gonna do that. Click OK, and it's gonna be in inches also. Modeled by your name, and description will be spring. So go ahead and click OK. Oops. Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start. So to do the spring, it's gonna be we're gonna do what's called a helical sweep. So that allows you to make objects such as a spring. So we're gonna go ahead and click on that, and we're gonna go to references. We're gonna define the profile that we're gonna sketch it on. So let's just do it on this right datum plane here. Go ahead and click sketch. Now you're gonna go to your sketch view, and there we go. So first what we want to do is we want to create the center line that we're going to make this spring about. Go ahead and label that your axis of revolution like we did before. And so we have to define the path that it's going to travel, so we're going to do that by making this line here and there to there. Okay, so what we're going to do is dimension that line. So it's going to be a distance of 6, and that is what we want. And this distance, it's going to be have a diameter of 4, so that's going to allow us to define our diameter. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. And the pitch that it tells us that it is 0.625, so we can go ahead and change that here, and that's good. And now we're going to create the cross-sectional view here. So what we're going to do, it's going to be looks like it's a square shape. So right here is where we're going to make it, where we have defined our shape that it's going to take. So here we go. We're going to make that square, and we're going to label it 0.25. That is the cross-sectional view here. And what you can go ahead and do is click OK, and that is your spring. So let's see, got the right pitch and everything, so that's good. You can go ahead and click check mark so we can see that is what we want. And from here, go ahead and click save. I'm going to save it to let's see, the folder. We're going to save it to exam 2 and click OK. Good. Now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and create our actually we are not going to create a drawing for this. Actually we only have to do the drawing for the main body part, so actually that's good to go. Now what I can show you how to do is how to create the assembly for these two parts. So what we're going to do is go to new, and we're going to go to assembly. We're going to call this, we're just going to call exam 2, and exam 2. That's good to go. Now we have to make it have a no space, and that's good. It's gonna be in inches, so that's good. Modeled by your name, and description exam 2. So you can go ahead and click OK. So what we first want to do is go to this over here, assemble, and we want to take this main body. So that's our first part that we want. Now to be able to constrain it, we're just gonna go from here and we're gonna go to fix. So that's gonna fully constrain it now. So you can see before, yeah, that's fully constrained. So that's good to go. You just want to make sure everything you put in this assembly is fully constrained. We're gonna get rid of that. That's kind of annoying. Okay, now we're gonna go to the spring that we just made. Obviously, the spring was a little bit simpler to make, but yeah, here we have. Let's make that bigger, and we have the spring. So what we want to do is actually we want to show our axes. So what I had a problem with on the exam that took a little bit to figure out was there was no axis for the spring to constrain it, but we can still do a we can do a coincident. Is that what we want? Let's see, I think it's coincident, and we're gonna do that right here with, no, we don't want it to be coincident. We want it to be coplanar. Oops, it got a little bit darker. Actually, we're gonna cancel. Let's try it again. So we want to bring in the spring. We want to bring coincident. Yeah, that's not what we want. So yeah, that was, we're gonna actually have to go in back to the spring part, and we're gonna have to go into our profile section here, and we're axis. It's gonna have to be no. We want to create an axis here. So to do that, let's see. We can go back to here. We have the center line. And it's weird that it's not showing up, but let's try to figure that out. Let's see, here. Maybe. Maybe we can go to sketch. Yeah, we can go to sketch, make it on the front datum plane, sketch. No, sorry, not the front datum plane. We can go to sketch on the right datum plane, like that. Sketch view. No, that is not the right plane. So sketch top datum plane. There we go. That's what we want. And we're gonna create the center line here. And we're gonna go ahead and click check mark. Now we have our axis that we want. So it just takes a little bit to mess around and figure out how to get that, but we just created a sketch and added a center line to make that axis. So we're going to save that and go back to our assembly file, and here we're going to add the spring again, but now you can see it has what we want. It has that axis that we can do a constraint with this axis, so that's good. And then we can go ahead and click check, let's see, check mark for that. And we can also, so we can go ahead and constrain it again. We can go ahead and do this with this surface, and we want it to be, no, not tangent, cancel. No, we don't want that either. We want to get it constrained and I'm going to constrain this somehow. We want a new constraint. We want that to be constrained to that. We want it to be not tangent. Let's see. Let's try to figure out how we want to constrain that. How about a distance constraint? So let's try and see if that works. Distance. It just wants to do tangent. That's kind of odd. What we can try to do is just create a plane in the other one. If we can go back to our spring, we can actually open it from here and edit it. Create a plane on that, just so that's at some weird angle. We don't want that. Let's see. We also don't want that. Let's try making a point there. That's keeping